Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Thank you guys for your feedback regarding the last video. I have made some tweaks for today's video. The audio should sound better, the lighting is better. Also, somebody suggested that I have background interruptions, but besides that, somebody did suggest that I have the questions in the background on the screen as I answer them. So that's what I'm going to do here today. As I swipe through the questions on the iPhone, they will appear on the background. So you have the NoDQ&A video logo here, and let's get down to your questions. First one today comes from the other Z. What a boring Raw this week. Am I right, Aaron? Sting was the best part, though. I would actually say the best part was the New Day, and I'll get to that more in a minute. Overall, I felt Raw was just a very average show, not much to it. The Baltimore fans were clearly bored with some of the promos. When Seth Rollins was out there, they were chanting boring. They were chanting boring for Summer Rae's segment. And the matches were just good. There was no bad match or great match. It was just a series of matches, and they were just slowly building up the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Not much to it. It was just your standard episode of Raw. Nothing all that special. But one would think that with football starting up, WWE would have come up with something better to keep fans watching once the football starts. But not much going on this episode of Raw. They did set up a Divas title match for next week's Raw, which should be very interesting because Nikki will be on the verge of breaking AJ's record. That match should have a tremendous amount of heat, and it'll be interesting to see if WWE puts that match on as the main event. And I got this question here from MRYUKK. How did you like the trombone action from Raw? The New Day should have a faction, and should they add another person or a diva? I loved the New Day segment. The trombone is such a funny, hilarious addition to the New Day act. I think Xavier Woods is just tremendous. He has really stolen the show week in and week out. The New Day, they put smiles on my faces, and that's what WWE says they're all about. I love the New Day. They were definitely the highlight of the Raw. They really made my New Day, so to speak. As far as adding another person to the faction, I think that would be overkill. Don't change things if it's not broken. The New Day is awesome as a trio group. There's really no need to add any new people to the faction. The New Day is just fine as they are right now, and just keep them doing what they're doing because it's working and it's very entertaining, and there's no need to try and change things up right now. Alright, this one comes from Beast Slayer I Say Whatever 666. Don't you just get tired of hearing Seth Rollins talk, and most of all, opening the show? Well, when Seth Rollins came out to start Raw, I even tweeted on twitter.com/NoDQ.com that what are the odds that he comes out and goes on and on and on and on, as Cesaro put it several times. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did. It wasn't like it was a bad promo. It was just your very typical Seth Rollins promo and your typical opening segment. It didn't have to be Seth Rollins. It could have been Triple H. It could have been Kevin Owens. It could have been anybody. Just your typical top heel coming out and cutting his promo. There was nothing unique about it, nothing different from the norm. And clearly these fans in Baltimore wanted to see something different. And they chanted boring at Seth Rollins. And I think it says more about the weak storytelling in WWE. It's not that fans are bored with Seth Rollins, it's just the material that he's been given, and the storyline that's going on with him and Sting just isn't really that captivating. I mean, that's the bottom line here. And Beast Slayer has another question here. What's going on with the Authority? Are they still heels, or I'm confused? Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on right now with this Authority storyline. One would assume that Triple H and Stephanie in the storyline are sick of Seth Rollins bragging about all of his accomplishments and taking credit for his success, because really it's the Authority that put Seth Rollins in that position to succeed. That's their attitude towards Seth Rollins, and I'm assuming that the direction of this storyline will lead to a split between Seth Rollins and Triple H, and one would think that Seth Rollins would just let his success get to his head, and he would cross Triple H, and then Triple H would say enough is enough, and you've disgraced me, and I'm going to take care of you. One would think that that is the direction it's going in, and eventually we will see a Triple H versus Seth Rollins feud. And I'm guessing that Triple H and Stephanie will be the baby faces, but it's really hard to say right now. It's not been made clear as to who will be the face in this feud between Seth Rollins and Triple H once the split happens, and one would think that it is going to happen sooner than later. But the fact that Triple H is making Seth Rollins prove that he's worthy of being champion by stacking the deck against him, the whole thing's weird because Seth Rollins is a heel after all, and he's having the deck stacked against him, which is normally what happens to a babyface. But then again, I remember back in 1999 when Triple H first went heel, Vince was the babyface, and Vince would do all these things to stack the deck against Triple H, like putting Triple H in 5 matches in one night. So it's the same kind of storyline here going on right now. So time will tell if Seth Rollins ends up losing the titles and Triple H gets pissed off, or if Triple H costs Seth Rollins the title. But yeah, it's really hard right now to distinguish who's the heel and who's the face in this little feud between Triple H and Seth Rollins. It just hasn't been made very clear. Alright, and this question comes from Isaac. Do you think there will be another Randy Orton versus Sheamus match at Night of Champions? I'm guessing that because the Wyatt family attacked Randy Orton, that is going to lead to Randy Orton being the third man for the 6-man tag team match at Night of Champions. Orton will team up with Ambrose and Reigns. You know, they did that backstage segment where Orton was talking with them. And of course that led up to the Wyatt family taking out Orton. The weird thing is now they're saying since the Wyatt family took out Orton, who is going to be the third guy? That doesn't make any sense because we all know Orton's going to be back. He's not going to be taking any time off from that beatdown. So I'm assuming Orton is going to be that third guy, and that will be the match at Night of Champions. As far as a match with Sheamus goes, another rematch, another epic rematch of the epic match of the epic match. I think it's inevitable. I think we will probably see another 30 Randy Orton versus Sheamus matches before the two of them are done in WWE, unfortunately. I really feel the feud should be done with and they should go their separate ways, but would not surprise me at all if in 2 or 3 weeks we have yet another Sheamus versus Randy Orton match, because that's just how WWE does things. Alright, this one comes from Kayfabe Candy Ass. Since every wrestler uses phrases like quite frankly and running roughshod, is it time WWE eased back on the scripting? Well, that was certainly a major problem with this week's Raw in my opinion, and a general problem in WWE is just how overly scripted everything is, and all the buzzwords that they constantly use. You know, with Michael Cole talking about the groundbreaking Tough Enough, or mentioning how Raw is the longest episodic series in history. It's like a bingo card. You have all these phrases that WWE likes to use, and you just check it off as they mention it on a TV show. It's just ridiculous, and I can just imagine the WWE scripts with these buzzwords in bold letters, and there's certain words they can use, certain words they cannot use. It's just the over-scripting and trying to control everything that I think is frustrating, and you know, it hurts the show. You know, you need to give more creative freedom to the performers and the announcers. They do have a job. There are certain things that they need to get across to the audience, but at the same time, you need to let them do their own thing. And they just come off like robots when they're literally saying every single line that's fed to them either through a script or through a headset. Alright, this one comes from @DieHardWWEFan. I know this is a stupid question to ask, but are you tired of the same stage, logo, rope color that Raw has had for years now? Absolutely, that is another issue with WWE. I mean, there's lots of little things that WWE can do to improve the product and change things up, and definitely the overall look and feel of the product is an issue. I do like the fact that they finally changed the logo and got rid of that old scratch logo. That was long overdue. one person mentioned, actually a number of people have mentioned to me through Twitter that they want to see the old school sets come back. You know, they're tired of the generic HD set that's used by WWE on every major show, and it's a convenience thing. It's done to save money. WWE just relies on the typical HD set that they have for every show. But one cool thing about like NXT, for example, is that they change up the set and the look and the color scheme. All these things they change up for NXT, and I think the main product and the main WWE product could benefit from some tweaks. You know, changing up the color scheme a little bit and changing up the sets a little bit. Just something different to give it a different feel and a different vibe. Alright, this one comes from Fergie. Hey Aaron, do you think WWE will give Samoa Joe a new gimmick if and when they call him up to the main roster? I hope not. I doubt it. I think that based off of the other people that have been called up to WWE, I think WWE will keep the Samoa Joe gimmick. There's no need to change it. People know him as Samoa Joe, and he's doing well as Samoa Joe. There's no good reason to change up that character. And for the most part, WWE hasn't really changed the characters from NXT once they get onto the main roster. And just the fact that he's been Joe for so many years, people would see right through it. I don't think it would work. So I think it's unlikely that they change him up that much once he gets on the main roster. And hopefully he does soon. Alright, another one here from at diehard WWE fan. Would you be open to Scott Steiner coming back and facing Brock Lesnar one-on-one? Also, would you be okay with doing a Ring of Honor top 10? Regarding Steiner, it's just too little too late. Scott Steiner is about 20 years past his prime. I hate to say it because I love Scott Steiner. If you could have the 1990 Scott Steiner go against Brock Lesnar today, that would be an incredible match. That would be awesome. Scott Steiner and Brock Lesnar would tear the house down. But Scott Steiner just cannot go anymore. That's the unfortunate reality. As much as I love the Big Papa Pump character, and I think Scott Steiner as this freakish monster in his peak would be a great challenge to Brock Lesnar, and you know, that match would have a tremendous dynamic. It's just not a realistic possibility in 2015, unfortunately. And regarding Ring of Honor and a top 10, I don't really follow Ring of Honor, so would not be able to do a decent job at that. But you guys out there, you like Ring of Honor, go ahead and list your top 10 Ring of Honor matches or top 10 Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Leave your feedback so at diehard WWE fan can get your thoughts and go from there. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. And since I changed the setup here, you're not going to be seeing the cats appear anymore, unfortunately, unless they jump up on the desk, which is always a possibility. But you could still watch them on YouTube at my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/thecatdiaries. Cheap plug right there for the cats. Also, make sure you check out Jeff Meacham Talk Wrestling on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. And have to give a plug out there for Mike Nagel and Noah Donish, The Scoop. I know you guys dislike it, eat, sleep, dislike, repeat, but check out their videos. Noah really tries hard, and he's trying to have a more serious approach to the videos. So give him a chance. Give Noah a chance, just like you give Divas a chance. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in the world of WWE and TNA and the Indies. And leave your feedback. Let me know what you think about this video and this whole format here with the questions appearing on the screen. And submit your questions at twitter.com/AaronRift. And on that note, I will see you guys next time for another edition of No DQ&A video.